Good morning, Tri-Citizens. It's Angie coming to you live. It's Throwback Thursday, April 30th, and I'm very excited to be back here once again, giving you actionable items to take advantage of and to do one day at a time. You know, something you can do right away today, hopefully helping you come out of this economic time that we're in stronger than you were going in. So I have a lot of things I want to talk about today. It is Throwback Thursday. This is an opportunity I wanted to kind of share a little bit about myself, or maybe a little bit about the Tri-Cities, which is where I live and work out of. And so I've got some things I'm going to share with you today. And I titled today's talk, Have You Yielded Financial Responsibility to Someone Else? So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as well today and tomorrow, to tell you the truth. So tomorrow I'll be talking about a book. So you'll want to tune in for that, 11:35 on Friday. But before we get into too much of that, I wanted to do an update. I am looking at modifying my Facebook Live schedule, and I'm going to go on Tuesday at 11:35, just like I've been at the same time, just on Tuesday. And then I'm going to try 12:35 on Thursday, just to see if that time is better for some people. So we'll be going 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday, and we will see. Hi, Bob. We will see how that goes. And I'm always looking for feedback if there's something that you want to hear more about or topics that are near and dear to you. So be sure to reach out to me. You can direct message me, or my website is aveafp.com, AVEA, like financial, P like planning.com. And my contact information is on there. So all right. I think a report came out today, 30 million unemployed here in the not the Tri-Cities, thank God, in the U.S. And so it seems like it's declining a little bit. It's a big number, however. Hi, Craig. Good morning. And there's, speculation that might be underrepresenting the true unemployed population. And so we talk, amongst people I'm talking to, we talk a little bit about the economy not just bouncing back, not turning back on like a light switch. And in fact, you might consider describing it more like dominos, that there's going to be kind of these effects over time. And yet the markets seem to be pretty okay with everything. Things are going back up. We had a kind of a crazy March. A pretty big dip there, down on the 23rd, but things have really kind of come back since that time. I can't predict the future, never say I can, but I do question, what does this current economic crisis and situation mean for us, like over the next 12 months and over maybe even the next 24 months. So I'm curious to hear what you're thinking. If you have a comment, put it into the comment box here on your phone or on your computer. Curious to know what you think. And I'm happy to talk to people about it. If you have investments, portfolios, things like that, are you positioning yourself for long-term success? That's a good question to ask yourself. Have I positioned myself for long-term success? Am I making decisions now that might help or hinder me going long-term, looking long-term? So I'm happy to talk to people about that anytime. Please just direct message me or go to my website, aveafp.com. All right, so today is Throwback Thursday, and so for some of my old-timey friends who are on this, this is going to be fun. You're going to like this. I wanted to talk a little bit about sports, because I was the kind of girl who did sports pretty much my whole life until I got really old, and now I walk and jog, that kind of thing. But I was a pretty quintessential kid of the 60s. I lived here in this neighborhood where I'm broadcasting from, and I did all the things that kids in the 70s did. Did I say 60s? I wasn't. I was barely a child in the 60s. I was a kid of the 70s. And so we rode bikes, we rode horses, we played in our yard, all those kinds of things, drank from the hose, God forbid. And I even remember my mom had a bell on our back porch. It was a pretty big bell. I want to say like that. And I could hear it about 2 or 3 pastures over at my friend's house. So she would ring that once in a while if I needed to come home. So it was a really great time. And I do reflect back on that time pretty pretty positively. It was pretty good. So my neighborhood friend is Crissy. She was my best friend growing up, basically. And plus she was an awesome friend because she had a horse and a swimming pool, which I had neither, even though I wished for them for every birthday I ever had. So we spent a lot of time, especially in the summers, riding horses and swimming. And she was also a really strong athlete. She just was like a little muscle girl. And here's a picture from us. This says 1975. So she's in the green shorts. Her name's Crissy. I'm on the, I have the other shorts on. That's my sister in the skirt. We were little tennis buds. But Crissy and I played tennis just for fun as kids. But then in high school, she was very competitive and very good. So anyway, had lots of fun with her. We had a neighbor who was about 8 or 9 years older than we were, who loved gymnastics. And so before gymnastics came into the high school, which is the time I was in high school, we just had to do it outside. You know, there was no gym around here. There was no teacher, nothing like there is today. And so we just literally did gymnastics in our backyard. And I happened to find a photo. Check that out. That is me doing a backflip in my backyard. And of course, it's kind of an amazing picture because of, cameras, I don't know, back then weren't all that great, but she caught me. That must have been my mom, I'm guessing. She caught me in mid-air. And I can tell you that the last time I did a backflip, I had both my kids born, so I want to say it was probably 18, 17 years ago. And when I did that, I actually hurt my wrists and I saw stars. So that was the last time. You know, when they talk about seeing stars, it's true. I literally saw stars. So never again. I was a one and done kind of activity. Then another fun thing, I did gymnastics, I played softball, I played tennis, and I shot basketball. So one of the things I like to do was enter competitions. I don't know if any of you guys on this entered any of these competitions, but I did. This was me, and I don't know if you can see my t-shirt. It says girls lib, like women's lib. That's me with my little trophy and patch, I think it was, because I had participated in the pitch, hit, and run and came in, I don't know, second or first or something. And that was when I was 10 years old. And I competed against the boys. So I don't believe there was any other girl in that competition. And same with this. It was another, they called it a hoop shoot, free throw contest. Look at me with my Little House on the Prairie outfit. Isn't that fun? And that was another free throw contest where you had to get the best out of 25. So, fun stuff. That was just stuff. I shot hoops in my backyard with my brother all the time and got to be pretty good at it, apparently. So all those things, the reason I'm telling you some of that stuff is sports was such a big part of my growing up years. I just enjoyed it. It was fun. I was good at it. Obviously, it's healthy and a great activity for kids to participate in. But it really wasn't until 1972 when Title IX, and I don't know if those of you on the call probably remember that term, Title IX, but for younger people, they may not even know what Title IX was. But what that did was, by law, made equal access to sports for both boys and girls at that time. And so it provided equal opportunities to participate. And I wasn't aware of any of that. I was just a kid who liked to play sports, and my family supported it. My dad coached my softball team when I was, in grade school, so we had family activities of that kind. But, it was really by formalizing it both with the Title IX law, and then, slowly over time, social norms have changed to expect that, people have equal access to those kinds of things. Women have equal access to those kinds of activities. So my generation, in some ways, is really one of the first to kind of be the beneficiaries of that kind of cultural shift as well as legal shift. And so I've been the beneficiary of all of that change. And I've had really every opportunity since then to take advantage of those kinds of things. I have access to education, access to the sports, and as a person, just as a person, and especially as a woman, I have definitely benefited from those kinds of activities. So I think of my mom's generation, and mom is not considered a boomer per se. She was a little before boomers. But, when I think of that generation, or boomers even, they really still didn't have that kind of expectation. My mom, for example, had access to education. She did a couple years of college, but then, there was still that expectation of getting married, having children, staying at home, caring for kids, which is exactly what she did until most of us were in school. And then, of course, their educational path was sort of limited, and the careers that they could go into, education, secretarial, maybe nursing, were also kind of limited. So much has changed, really, in the last 50 years, and even especially in my lifetime. And those, for women like me, who are in their 50s or 60s, and the way this relates back to money and your financial life is that we had different experiences than men growing up, and those experiences have also shaped and worked their way into the way that we think about money, the way that we manage our money, the responsibilities that we have with our household money, whether we're the primary person who deals with money or maybe we're not. So a lot of that has had a big impact, the way that we were brought up and some of those expectations in our youth. And so when I talk about money, I put a question on my Facebook Live today: have you yielded responsibility to someone else? And so if you have, what I would suggest, what I would like to see, it doesn't really even matter if you're the husband or the wife, or, however your couple is situated. If you have completely yielded responsibility to someone else, it's probably a really important goal to take back some of that responsibility. At the very least, get involved, get engaged in what's going on in your own household's financial life. So I have a couple of things I'm going to share with you as tips to start doing that. At the very basic, just start talking. So if you're the spouse who's less informed, start to talk to the spouse who is the lead money person in the household, and just inform them you want to be more involved, you want to be more engaged. And very clearly explained, it's not a question of trust or anything like that. It is actually something that should benefit both of you. Because, position it this way, what if something was to happen to either of you? The other person would have a harder time if both parties aren't engaged. And I do see this all the time, is that one of the two is left really out of the conversation, and there's times when they have no idea about anything. And so whether that's the husband or the wife, it's really not an ideal situation. So just inform them you're starting to take interest, you want to be engaged, you want to be involved. Okay, and it helps you both by doing this. So then discuss a couple of ways that you could take some responsibility back, take something off of that other person's plate. So take a look. Are you more interested in the budgeting side, or the banking side, or the investment side, or, hustling and figuring out insurance like I've been doing this week? A third tip would be to talk about and find out what kind of access do each of you have to each other's information. So in this day and age, privacy is everywhere. Everybody, even my 19-year-old son, I can't access his information at college. I can't access his information on our health insurance. He is an adult. And in order for me as the mother, the one paying the bills, to get that information, I have to be authorized. Same with a married couple. Same with a spouse. And as I have been going through our EOBs from the last year this week and trying to fix mistakes, I have to have access, authorization to talk to Humana to get anything done. And so if you don't have that access, it becomes a real pain, And so you either have to get that spouse on the phone at that moment that you make the phone call, or you have to have something done in writing before you do that. And sometimes it's just clicking some kind of button on a website. So finding out what kind of access do I have to your stuff, what kind of access do you have to my information, is actually a really important first step as well. Okay, so I'm going to write up a few more tips and I'll post them on my Facebook page, maybe even my LinkedIn page, we'll see. And just to kind of keep continuing that conversation, what more can you do to take back responsibility or share that responsibility in your household? Okay, that was kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about today. For those of you with property, like you, Carl, today is April 30th, and that means property tax, irrigation, all of those things are due today. So make sure you've paid your bills. I heard on the news the other night that if for some reason you cannot pay your property tax, at least in Franklin County, they want you to contact them and they want you to set up a payment plan. So that at least is an option if times are rough right now. So thank you everyone for jumping on today. Shane, Carl, someone else, let's see, Lewis, Craig. I don't know who's still here, but feel free. I am always happy to talk to people about what's going on in your personal life with your financial situation. If there's anything I can do to help, call me up. My website is aveafp.com. Top right, there's a link to set up a meeting with me. I always offer complimentary consultations just to find out what's going on in your world. So much is happening around us every single day. It's nice to just talk things through with someone who, first of all, I'm qualified. I do this for a living, and I care about you. So I would be happy to get on the phone and talk about anything that's on your financial mind. Okay, today's Thursday. I will be back here tomorrow at Friday at 11:35, and then I will be coming live again next week, Tuesday at 11:35, the following Thursday at 12:35. We'll try that out, see what you think. Thanks everyone. Have a good Thursday afternoon. Bye.